Welcome back, everybody. This is Dren608. This is another in my short series of Vietnam, setting up for the Battle for Vietnam, which is the full campaign from 1965 to 1975. This one will be, this is going to be a two-part thing because I couldn't do the NLF part of the interface, but we're going to start off with the summer of 1965 interface. And I went and I tried to follow the sequence of play here. We skipped the pacification, so we're going to basically be starting with the strategic warfare. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. You really like to see, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notify bell, be notified when I upload videos and schedule streams. As I stated in the previous video, this is not going to be a playthrough. This will be basically setting up these interfaces. We'll go through the interface here. The next, after I get done with the two here on the interface, the next one up will be, I will show you how some operations work. Show you some strategic moves by the NLF player. I'll show you a couple of different operations by US player, and then I will finish that out, just try and get ourselves into a decent position to do the fall of 1965 interface, which will be the full one with pacification. What I'm trying to show you is how all these things work. This button, that thing, and this thing. If you do it right and you set up all the automations correctly, a lot of the record keeping is taken care of for you. I will state that I forgot to do a couple things. Didn't find out till I was at the end of the interface and realized that I hadn't set a few things on some of the counters and things, which you'll see when we get there. So anyway, we're going to start off with, by sequence, we're going into strategic warfare. Strategic warfare phase. So I designate 8 air points to each the north, north end of the trail, and the north is unrestricted. And the reason why I'm doing that is on the combat table. Is that in here? Bombing table. If you go down to 8 points is row 5, and you're going to roll 1 die. So you're going to add up to 6. So you could be up to row 11. On unrestrained, you could hit him for 2, possibly, but you're guaranteed of getting at least 1 hit on both the north and on the trail. Now, a lot of people say do restrained because you can't afford the morale loss to the U.S. because it's a die roll divided in half, I think, or something, for unrestrained bombing. But if you look at the leader display, the reason why I'm doing unrestrained, this guy's going to be -3 to South Vietnamese morale. So I'm basically trying to compensate for that because also their population will be -1 as well. So when you get to that point, basically I'm going to give them 4 to let them lose 4 and stay at 65, which is what I'm trying to do. So let's move on forward here. Air points remaining, so I had to move. I move them down to 13 for one of the 8s, and then down to 5. So I only have 5 air points available. The total air points are here. If you take losses, the total air point number moves down, not the available. Okay? So basically it affects you long term if you take air losses, both in operations and in the strategic warfare phase here. So you kind of gotta work with it there. Trail bombing. Rolled a 4. Let's bring that up. So a 5 plus 4 is a 9, which is going to be 1 hit. 1 hit on the trail. And then there's a roll for losses, which use the same roll and add a die roll. You add 3, which is an 8, which is a 0 loss. Okay? And then north, we only rolled a 2, so that's a 7, that's 1 hit. So instead of the 9 that the North Vietnamese allocated, only 8 will get through. And also on the trail, where's the trail thingy? This is the trail. You'll see this come up next. I'm going to do. And the losses was a 4 plus 5 is a 9, which is also a 0 loss. Okay. It should be it goes up by 4, not 3. I took it up the right amount here, as you can see. It goes up by 4, not 3. I am making bad notes. So that should have been a 4. U.S. morale loss is a D6 divided by 2. So I rolled a 4 divided by 2 means I lose 2 U.S. morale. So they'll go down to a 518. So the trail effectiveness, because I did one hit, goes down here. So instead of 9 per point, they'll only get 8 per point. So 8's going to get through, and 8 times 8 will be 64 trail supply in the first, when they get to their phase. Blockade segment. Okay, now we're into blockade. He sent 1 point, so we're going to be on this index number of 30. Okay. So I rolled a 5, so 30 minus 5 takes us down to the index number of 25. If I'd have rolled a 6, it would have been 24, and you have to go to the index number here that's equal to or less than, you can't go higher. In other words, you can't get to 25 unless you have at least 25 from this math here. So it ends up on 25 here, which is a 5/6 chance of him getting to a 5. If I'd rolled a 6, he would have been down here and he would have only gotten 4 through. So 5 supplies are going to get through. And then I went ahead and wrote notes because I wasn't able to do, there's no way to mark. What the heck's the notes thing? I've lost the notes. Where are notes? There they are. So, I believe I write a note in here. Right. So I'm just kind of writing a note for myself for the future. Okay. This would be recorded on the charts, but they don't show you the record keeping charts. That's not part of the module. Probably with good reason, because that would be a nightmare to try and program into this thing. I've stated before, I'm sure someone has already put one out there. I plan on developing my own spreadsheet. I use OpenOffice myself. So I'm planning on using their replacement sheets and going and just doing a spreadsheet both for the NLF side and one for the US side. Basically, whatever sheets they have, there'll be a spreadsheet for each one. And then I will set it up so that you have columns that are all the seasons and the years that come through, so that you'll be able to put all the numbers in there and then have them, using the macro functions and stuff that you can get in spreadsheets. The numbers will translate over to the next column like they should, and just keep transposing up. So as you fill in each column, the next year's columns will all be correct. All the years after will be the same, obviously, until you get there. But the numbers will filter over for you anywhere where they're, carry over this column to the top of the, row 30 in the chart goes to row 7 in the next year's chart, and that'll all be taken care of for you. So that'll be automated as well. In a sense, it'll be a separate sheet. And then what you can do is, when you're playing against an opponent, he will be keeping track of everything in the NLF spreadsheet, and then when the game is over, they have to turn the spreadsheet over to you to prove that they actually did what they said they did. And the US player can have a copy of it up themselves, and they can make guesses on what they think the NLF is doing. They can see how good their guesses were. Things like that. So now we're in the South Vietnamese officer replacement phase. This is going to be painful. We're going to bring up the officer things. There's 2 guys I gotta roll for. I don't have a choice. So, 21st Division had to roll. I went ahead and did the division first. You roll 2 dice. A replacement roll of 10. If you roll a 9 through 12, he's going to be ineffective and his morale goes down 1. If you roll a 7 or 8, his morale goes down 1. If you roll a 6 or less, he gets replaced. So he did not get replaced. He rolled a 10, which makes his division, whatever he has on the board, is ineffective. They mark it with this funny little box around it, which is really nice. One of the things that I did not do, which I just noticed here, and I think I do it later, is I forgot that all these guys are now just listed as being in I Corps, and they aren't all in I Corps. They're not in First Corps. On the track, all units are ineffective. Let's see if the unit is marked effective. So we're going to go find the unit. I missed a step when setting up divisional units. They need to be assigned to Corps. So you're going to see me do that. Doing that now. So what you can do is basically you can right click on these units. I'll show you one here. And you set the Corps command. You can go increase it or decrease it. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing. Oops, what's going on? Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. So I had to go find the various units and see what corps they were in. It's like the 2nd Division was actually in Saigon, so he's part of the Chief of Staff. 25th Division goes into 4th Corps. The Marines were in... Oh, I actually did that wrong. He's in 3rd Corps, and these guys are Chief of Staff. Now that's correct. I have 2 divisions in 2nd Corps. I have 3 divisions that are in Chief of Staff, and I have 2 divisions that are in 4 Corps. Okay? And the rest are actually in 1st Corps. Amazingly to my... Then the 4th Corps guy has to roll. The reason why this is important is you'll see in a second. He rolled an 11. So he goes pro-coup, turns in that way. And then you see all the 4th Corps, the 2 divisions of 4th Corps are now ineffective. They won't matter on their effectiveness die roll. They're going to be ineffective because the Corps leader rolled so high on the thing there. So anything that's subordinate to him. And this is where I made a mistake. 4th Corps has a bunch of independent things here. And these guys, if you see select Corps commander, they're all set to the Chief of Staff, and they shouldn't be. They should be actually set to the Corps that they live in, because these independent battalions follow their Corps where they're assigned in the Corps. And you'll see me fix that in the next video as well. It goes pro-GU, and the division's fighting are ineffective to boot. And it should be also the independent battalions, but... And we're not going to try to replace any of the other leaders. We're having enough troubles as it is. Then we go to coup determination. So this is going to be, you can do this here. There's a coup roll. Then this gets adjusted, and you resolve the effects. Okay? So the die roll is an 11. And then what happens here, this is actually incorrect. This guy has the wrong value in his thing. He's actually at an 11. So what he should be is he should have been there. Should have been moved down to a 10, and then he should have actually been set to pro-coup. That's the way it should be, and you'll see me correct that in a later video as well. Anyway, basically everybody's pro-coup. So when you get to the it's basically a coup because there's there's no loyal leaders at all. So it's a coup. Lots of terrible things are going to happen here. I don't know why I said two wavering. They were all pro-coup. That was a mistake. And reduce U.S. morale by 3 and us morale by 8. Oh, I did. Okay. So they come down to 61. Draft population, U.S. goes down by 3. So we did that. I overcompensated in a later video. I'll have to fix that. We draw a new 3-star leader. So this guy, the old guy, went back into the pool. And we pulled out the Mystery Man. Mystery Man is great. He's +1 for South Vietnam, and he doesn't hurt the U.S. at all. Best leader that you can pull for 3-star. Unfortunately, I have so many leaders that are at 9, 8, 7, and 7, and 6. I mean, it's highly likely I'm going to have another coup if I roll high again. So I got to hope that I'm going to roll like a 5 or a 6 so I can possibly not have another coup next time. No morale drop from the coup. -1 for population control, but 1 for the left side, so there's no movement there. It's loyalty adjustment. So now you check, you use this, you verify the morale. It is 61, and then you roll 1 single die. It's a loyalty adjustment is 4. Okay. So C's loyalty adjusted by -2. So this guy that was up here at an 8 just dropped down to a 6. I'm going to have to roll for him. He's at rock bottom, so I have to roll for the naval leader. This guy here used to be here. He's getting close to having to be forced to roll. And I'm going to have to roll for the airborne division next time. So I'm going to have 2 division leaders and 3 corps leaders that I have to roll for. So that's not good. I could end up with another coup by having 3 coup guys and only... Depends on what the coup die roll is, but that could be very, very bad. All right. Fall of 65. Okay, so morale adjustments for the U.S. is no changes because it's at 217 and commitments are not affecting anything. I'm at 25 commitment. Next would be North Area, and all they get is a +5 because of morale at 40 or less. Note left to NLF to do when I switch because I'm in as these guys right now. I was having trouble trying to figure out how to make the referee. Seems like pull units for force pulls or adjust NFL totals, etc. And that's what I'm going to do next time. So we had a coup. That was instructive, I hope. It shows how it... Or, I don't want to do that. That shows how it works, okay? Coups are very bad usually, especially this early in the game, because there's going to be... there's 3 divisions for sure that are not effective. Fortunately, the coup doesn't affect these guys' numbers. It just affects who's in charge. If I can roll low next time on the coup table, if I can get, down here like 7 or less, I won't have a coup, and then I might be unstable, but I might not have a coup, and that would be just fine by me, because I want to keep him in power as long as possible. Even with crappy leaders, him being in power will help keep more of Vietnam going in the right direction, the population and stuff. And that's that. That's the first part of the interface. I will do the next part. I finally did figure it out, and I will say it in the next log file. Finally figured out how to get myself to log in as a referee. If you don't log on the first time, as a referee when you're doing videos like this, guys, do so before you do anything. What you have to do is when you get to a point like this, you basically have to save things. You save the game, you switch to referee, save the game, switch, close the whole game down, load it back up, and then pick the one that you saved as referee. It will come in as the referee, and then you will actually have access to everything that you can get to. So that's what I'll be doing next time. If you like what you see, by the way, this is the way it looks to the allied player. They just see the blue sides of all these units. They don't know what the heck is where. Okay. When you're in the referee, you actually get to see the values of all the units. So it is kind of hard to do things as the referee. Game is not very friendly for switching sides and allowing you to still do things. That is just a function of the way Vassal does things. Just because you switch to the referee doesn't actually give you access to all the charts and everything that you need to have and force pools and stuff, unless you start the game as the referee. So, all right. So yeah, that's where we're sitting right now. You'll see me correct a bunch of these independent, like these guys that are in first corps. They should be assigned to first corps, not chief of staff. See there in the parentheses it says chief of staff. These guys should actually be in first corps. So this is a problem. When I get to doing the effectiveness die roll, I go through and I check everything and make sure that everything's in the right place. Okay. So there you have the first part of the interphase. We'll come back and do the second part in a little bit. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. You really like to see, go and subscribe. Hit the notify bell to be notified, upload videos, and our scheduled streams. I'm Dren608. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.